Meet Marla Gibbs. She's been playing Florence on the Jeffersons for 8 years. Do you do windows yet?
No, I train other people to do that.
I hate windows, but windows must be done. Someone has got to do the windows.
Well, as long as it's not me, that's cool.
She's a very funny lady on stage, but she's a very serious lady off stage in her own private life. Would you consider yourself a dreamer when you were little? Because I know that you read a lot of books.
I definitely was. I was a person that lived more in a dream world than I did the real world, which I think helps now, is that I have to live in the real world.
But she's got a very unusual background because her mother left the family back in the 30s, right, to go and do her thing, which is a very bold act for a black woman in the 30s to really abandon her family. How did you feel about that?
Well, at the time, I wasn't too much aware. I was about 4 years old, I guess, and other than missing her, I wasn't really too much aware of what was happening. And I don't think it was leaving to go do that so much as the marriage breaking up and finding yourself displaced, and it's better to have the children with the grandmother and a stationary home and go out and try to establish something.
Well, you lived in with your father.
Yes, and my grandmother.
And your grandmother. What did your grandmother think about her leaving? Did she resent that or feel like your mama had to do her thing?
No, at the time, I think my grandmother might have been a little cause of it. You know, it was that paternal mother-in-law, and I think she might have been one of those then, which she understood later and tried to correct. But they lived with my grandmother and my aunt, and I think it's always a mistake when young people who get married don't get a chance to go out on their own.
But her mother became a preacher, a singer, had a very unusual name, Ophelia Kemp. Is there any significance to that name?
No, that's what she was born with.
Oh, that's her real.
That was her real maiden name. Kemp is her family name.
And so she took what an unusual thing for a woman to do in the 30s. And she did it. She did what she was going to do. What's the nature of your relationship with her now? Well,
my mother died in '67, and I think I'm quite a bit like her, which I understood as I began to grow. We became very close. When we started living together, which was about the time I was 17. And then I lived with her about a couple of years then, and I went back to live with my father. And then when I got married, I came back to Detroit where she was living then, and we lived in the same town until the time she died.
And so the relationship was really cemented after all those years again.
Right, because it was like two adults meeting and getting to understand each other and getting to understand all the things that happened in your childhood that you didn't really understand. And because she was a person who was a counselor type person, she was able to give me a lot of, at least whole on life, really.
After high school, you got a job in a book bindery. Why didn't you go to college? I mean, you were bright.
Because nobody else in my neighborhood was going, and I think that that's a crux that happens with a lot of children in the community. It becomes because my home, I came from a broken home, and most of us, even if we don't come from broken homes, we live in our communities. The children actually are the ones who live in the neighborhood, not the parents. They go to work. And the security is with your friends. And it was like going off to leave them. Most of them were not going off to college, and I felt like, gee, I was going away to some foreign place to do some foreign thing. And I wanted to be a psychiatrist at that time, and I was being discouraged constantly that no black was doing it, let alone female. And I wanted to work in the prisons or for the children, disturbed children. And talking with a lot of different psychiatrists, white psychiatrists who were in the field, who knew what was going on, they told me the field really wasn't open, and especially not in those areas. So I allowed them to discourage me. And now I understand that you can do really what you want to do if you really believe in yourself and go out there and try it.
And you've passed that on to your kids.
Yes.
You came late to acting, though.
Well, I late in one respect. It depends on what avenue you're looking for. It's right on time. I understand that things that happen and evolve in your life, they're always right on time. Not maybe when you want them, but when you're ready for them.
That's why you feel you have a control over your destiny.
Yes.
You can do it. You can say, I'm going to do that, and do it.
Right, but you cannot control what God's part is. He has to decide when. You don't know how he's going to do it. And they say to you, if you make one step, he'll make two. Or if you can have anything you want, if you ask for it believing, then you already have it. But you can't decide, well, it must be today. You know, you must know that it will come, and you go on working, and it will evolve itself.
She just received a very special honor for her role. UCLA is presenting it, I understand.
USC.
USC. And can you tell us a little bit about it?
I don't know very much about it. I got a letter saying that I received the award of family entertainment, and this is their first year. So no one knows very much about the organization. This is the first year that they're giving awards. So I guess I'll find out a little more about them.
Well,
when I get there.
congratulations to you, Marla Gibbs. Florence, for these many, many years, and may there be many, many more.
Thank you.
On the Jeffersons, of course, here on 1011 Strong. We'll be right back right after this.